The stock market has experienced a staggering decline, shedding $5 trillion in value over a mere 3 weeks, and many analysts are pointing fingers at the economic policies of former President Donald Trump. This unprecedented drop raises questions about the resilience of U.S. markets and the long-term impacts of protectionist policies on the economy. Since assuming office in late January, Trump has championed tariffs as a means to revive American industry and bring wealth back to the United States. However, critics argue that these same policies are contributing to inflation and economic stagnation. British economist John Ross, a senior fellow at the Cheong-Yang Institute for Financial Studies, expressed concern in a recent interview, emphasizing that the tariffs may have unintended consequences. "The only issue with the tariffs is which combination of bad effects will you have," he stated, warning that rising prices on imports could lead to inflation, prompting the Federal Reserve to increase interest rates. This in turn could hinder economic growth, an alarming prospect for an economy already under pressure. The correlation between Trump's tariff policies and the recent stock market turmoil has not gone unnoticed. As the costs of imported goods rise, domestic businesses may feel compelled to increase their prices, further fueling inflation. Ross noted that the U.S. economy relies heavily on foreign capital inflows, which could diminish as tariffs create a less welcoming environment for international investors. Raising tariffs will affect the inflow of overseas capital into the United States, thereby slowing down its economic growth, he cautioned. The broader implications of these economic strategies extend beyond U.S. borders. As protectionist measures increase, Ross argues that the U.S. risks isolating itself while other nations continue to embrace globalization. Countries in the Global South, for instance, remain committed to global integration and are unlikely to abandon successful policies that foster growth. "It's clear which of those will be more successful," Ross asserted, highlighting a potential bifurcation in global economic trends. Nations that pursue protectionism may face economic slowdowns, while those leaning towards globalization could thrive. In this context, the Bank of Japan has opted to maintain its interest rates, reflecting a cautious stance amid rising uncertainty stemming from the U.S. economic landscape. The decision underscores the interconnectedness of global economies, as fluctuations in the U.S. market can reverberate across the world, impacting monetary policies in other nations. Amidst this economic turbulence, the educational sector is also taking strides to address economic literacy. Wendy Stock, a professor at Montana State University, has been recognized with the American Economic Association's Distinguished Economic Education Award for her contributions to economics education. Her initiatives at MSU aim to empower students through hands-on research opportunities, emphasizing the importance of understanding economic principles in both academic and real-world contexts. As she aptly noted, the IRAEA has incentivized important research and mentorship opportunities for me and for dozens of other MSU faculty. Looking ahead, the interplay between economic policy and market performance will be a critical area to watch. As the U.S. grapples with the consequences of protectionist measures and the global economy continues to evolve, the coming months will likely reveal whether the current market volatility is a transient blip or indicative of deeper structural issues, with economists and policymakers alike keenly observing these developments. The path forward remains uncertain but undeniably crucial for shaping the future landscape of both the U.S. and global economies. In the world of collegiate sports, few rivalries ignite the same level of passion and anticipation as the clash between the Wisconsin Badgers and the Minnesota Gophers in women's hockey. As the NCAA Frozen Four approaches, excitement is palpable among fans and players alike, especially with Wisconsin's impressive streak leading up to this pivotal semifinal match. Scheduled for March 21 at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, this contest will take place at the Gophers' Ritter Arena in Minneapolis, where the stakes have never been higher. This matchup marks the sixth encounter of the season between the top-ranked Badgers, boasting a record of January 2nd, 36, and their fourth-ranked rivals, the Gophers, who come in at 29-11-1. Wisconsin has dominated their previous meetings this year, winning all 5 prior games against Minnesota, including 2 at their home rink and a crucial victory in the WCHA final faceoff. The historical significance of this rivalry cannot be overstated, as Wisconsin holds the record for 7 NCAA women's hockey national championships while Minnesota trails closely with 6 titles. Adding to the intrigue, Wisconsin has produced all 3 finalists for the prestigious Patty Kazmaier Memorial Award, which honors the nation's top collegiate women's hockey player. Forward Casey O'Brien, forward Layla Edwards, and defender Caroline Harvey are all in contention for the award, with the ceremony set for Saturday, just a day after the semi-final match. Fans eager to catch the action can stream the game live on ESPN+, making it accessible for those unable to attend in person. Unfortunately, tickets for the semi-finals and the subsequent championship game on March 23 have already sold out, as Ritter Arena accommodates only 3,400 spectators. The championship game will feature the winners of the Ohio State-Cornell showdown earlier that day, further heightening the intensity surrounding the Frozen Four events. As the Wisconsin Badgers gear up for this critical matchup, it is clear that their journey this season has been marked by both individual achievements and collective success. The team's confidence is buoyed by their recent performance, particularly highlighted by star player Layla Edwards, who has emerged as a leading figure in their offensive lineup. Edwards' growth as a player has not only contributed to the team's victories but has also inspired a renewed sense of hope among fans and future recruits. The outcomes of these games could significantly impact the landscape of women's collegiate hockey, shaping narratives for both current players and prospective athletes. As the Badgers and Gophers prepare to face off once more, all eyes will be on the ice, where tradition, rivalry, and the quest for glory converge. The Frozen Four promises to deliver thrilling hockey, setting the stage for an unforgettable showdown that could redefine the legacy of these storied programs. In a remarkable study that challenges long-held perceptions about fish behavior, researchers have found that certain species of fish can recognize individual divers, particularly those who feed them. This discovery not only sheds light on the cognitive abilities of fish but also has potential implications for underwater research practices. For nearly 2 decades, Alex Jordan, a researcher at the Max Planck Institute of Animal Behavior, has sensed that fish were capable of recognizing him and his colleagues during their underwater studies. "There were a lot of times when it was obvious to us that fish were recognizing us," Jordan reflected. However, this intuition lacked empirical support until now. A new study published in the journal Biology Letters provides compelling evidence that fish, specifically saddled sea bream and black sea bream, can distinguish divers based on the color of their gear. Conducted in the Mediterranean waters off Corsica, the research involved a series of experiments where divers wore brightly colored vests while feeding fish shrimp slices. Over the course of a month, the team executed more than 30 dives, observing how fish reacted to the diver's presence. In one key experiment, divers wearing different colored gear entered the water, with one diver providing food rewards. Initially, the fish followed both divers, but over time they learned to associate the specific color of the diver's gear with the food reward, demonstrating a clear recognition of individual divers. Jordan emphasized the significance of this finding. "You might then say, well, that's because they're stupid fish, right? They only look at the visual appearance of the divers. But when underwater, scuba divers usually do the same thing." This suggests that fish possess a more complex understanding of their environment than previously acknowledged. Kate Newport, a marine biologist at Oxford University who did not participate in the study, echoed this sentiment. "Fish are a lot more complicated than we give them credit for," she stated. The study not only adds to the growing body of evidence regarding fish intelligence but also raises questions about how researchers interact with aquatic life. If fish can recognize individual humans, it could influence their behavior and responses during scientific observations, potentially skewing research results. The implications of this research extend beyond academic curiosity. Understanding how fish recognize divers could have practical applications in marine conservation and management, particularly as the oceans face increasing threats from human activity. As Jordan pointed out, researchers must be mindful of how their presence might affect fish behavior, making it crucial to adapt methodologies that minimize bias in data collection. Looking ahead, Jordan and his team plan to investigate whether fish can learn to recognize more nuanced human features such as facial characteristics. This line of inquiry could pave the way for deeper insights into fish cognition and their interactions with the human world. As we continue to explore the complexities of underwater ecosystems, this study serves as a reminder of the intricate relationships that exist beneath the surface, urging us to reconsider how we engage with and study marine life. The allure of reality dating shows has captivated audiences for years, offering a tantalizing glimpse into whirlwind romances and seemingly perfect love stories. From Love Island to Married at First Sight, these programs promise viewers a fairy tale ending, yet the reality behind the scenes often paints a much bleaker picture. Despite the hype, the success rates of relationships formed on these shows are starkly low, raising questions about the psychological factors at play. A recent analysis by psychologist Mark Travers sheds light on why so many of these televised romances fail to translate into lasting love. According to Travers, who writes extensively on psychology, the environments in which these relationships blossom are artificially constructed to elicit intense infatuated feelings. Contestants are whisked away to idyllic settings devoid of the everyday stresses that typically characterize real-life relationships. This honeymoon phase is meticulously curated, allowing individuals to develop a romantic connection in a bubble that bears little resemblance to reality. The statistics highlight the issue. The Bachelor, which has been airing since 2002, has seen only 5 of its 26 couples remain together, resulting in a mere 4% success rate. Similarly, Love is Blind has only achieved a 12.5% success rate, with just 4 of its 16 engagements resulting in marriage, 2 of which have since ended in divorce. Even more alarming is Are You the One?, where only 3.3% of its participants have found enduring love. These figures suggest a pattern of disillusionment once contestants return to the real world, where the pressures of daily life begin to take their toll. Travers points to 3 primary factors contributing to the high failure rates of relationships formed on these shows: unrealistic settings, rigid time constraints, and external pressures. The highly romanticized environments of reality dating shows create a distorted perception of love, making it difficult for contestants to gauge true compatibility. The lack of real-world challenges, such as job stress, financial issues, and the mundane routines of everyday life, can lead to a superficial connection that falters when contestants are faced with actual relationship hurdles. In addition to the unrealistic settings, the accelerated timelines of these shows put immense pressure on participants to make life-altering decisions quickly. Research suggests that meaningful love typically develops over several months as couples navigate various experiences and challenges together. Yet on shows like Married at First Sight, couples meet for the first time at the altar, while Love is Blind contestants must commit to marriage within just 10 days of meeting. This rush can lead to hasty decisions driven by the excitement of the moment rather than genuine understanding. Moreover, the external pressure to maintain a facade of happiness can be overwhelming. Once the show's air, contestants are thrust into the public eye, where they face scrutiny from millions of viewers who expect them to stay together. This scrutiny can create a toxic dynamic where couples may feel compelled to stay together for the sake of their public image rather than for genuine affection. Social media amplifies this pressure, often turning every minor relationship issue into fodder for public discussion and speculation. The findings from Travers' analysis underscore the complexity of love in the context of reality television. While some couples do succeed in forming lasting relationships, they are often the exception rather than the rule. As audiences continue to consume these shows, the question remains: can the magic of reality dating ever translate into real love? As the genre evolves, it will be interesting to see how producers adapt these formats to address the psychological nuances of love and relationship dynamics. Perhaps future iterations of these shows will integrate more realistic scenarios and allow contestants to experience the complexities of love beyond the confines of a carefully curated paradise. The pursuit of genuine connection may yet find a foothold in the world of reality television, but for now the odds remain stacked against the hopeful romantics looking for their happily ever after on screen. Delaware's reputation as America's corporate capital hangs in the balance as a significant legislative battle unfolds, catalyzed by a high-profile court ruling involving billionaire Elon Musk. The state's lawmakers are racing to amend laws governing shareholder lawsuits, a move that critics argue could undermine corporate governance standards and diminish shareholder rights. In recent months, Delaware has faced scrutiny following a judge's decision to invalidate Musk's Tesla compensation package valued at over $55 billion. The ruling handed down by Chancellor Kathleen St. Jude McCormick asserted that the compensation was approved by directors who lacked independence from Musk and that shareholders received misleading disclosures. This landmark decision not only affected Musk's wealth but also placed a spotlight on Delaware's long-standing role as the preferred legal domicile for corporations, home to more than 2 million entities including two-thirds of Fortune 500 companies. In response to the fallout, Delaware's House Committee was set to vote on a bill aimed at bolstering the state's appeal as a corporate haven. Supported by Democratic Governor Matt Meyer, the legislation is touted as a modernization effort that would balance the interests of corporate officers and shareholders. Proponents argue it is essential for maintaining Delaware's status as a premier incorporation destination in the U.S. and globally. Meyer emphasized the necessity of such measures to preserve the state's competitive edge in attracting businesses. However, the proposed changes have drawn fierce criticism from institutional investors, pension funds, and asset managers. They contend that the bill, which has already passed the state Senate unanimously, would weaken corporate governance standards and restrict shareholders' ability to hold executives accountable for breaches of fiduciary duty. Critics warned that the legislation could lead to a significant erosion of shareholder rights, effectively tilting the playing field in favor of corporate executives. Notably, the controversy surrounding Musk's case has intensified discussions about a potential Dexit. Referring to the possibility of corporations leaving Delaware to incorporate in states like Texas or Nevada, which Musk himself has publicly recommended. The implications of such a mass exodus could be dire for Delaware, which relies heavily on corporate license fees for approximately one-third of its state revenue, around $2.2 billion annually. This revenue supports the state's low sales tax and relatively modest property taxes, making Delaware an attractive locale for individuals seeking vacation homes along its picturesque coast. The legislation, if passed, would introduce several key changes to Delaware corporate law. It would enhance protections for corporations in conflict of interest cases and limit the types of documents companies must disclose in shareholder lawsuits. Critics argue that these amendments could significantly hinder shareholders' access to crucial information necessary for accountability and transparency. As this situation develops, it remains unclear whether the bill will face legal challenges once enacted. Legal experts predict that a court fight could ensue, particularly from institutional investors who may push for an alternative incorporation strategy for companies they own. The landscape of corporate governance in Delaware is poised for a transformation, one that could reshape how businesses operate within the state for years to come. Looking ahead, the outcome of this legislative battle will likely reverberate across the broader corporate landscape as states compete to attract businesses in an increasingly interconnected and competitive economic environment. As Delaware navigates this precarious moment, the stakes are high not only for its economic future but for the principles of corporate governance that underpin the relationship between shareholders and corporate leadership. In an exciting development for the journalism landscape, Bloomberg Industry Group has announced its selection of 9 summer interns for 2025, marking a significant investment in nurturing the next generation of media professionals. This initiative reflects the organization's commitment to fostering diverse voices and perspectives within its newsroom, as noted by Editor-in-Chief Seska Antonelli. "We've assembled an accomplished class of aspiring journalists to join our growing newsroom this summer from schools all across the country," she stated in a recent announcement. The interns hail from prestigious universities and bring a wealth of experience that includes prior internships and contributions to significant media projects. Benjamin Hernandez, a junior at Yale, has already made strides in investigative journalism through his work with CBS News and his reporting on economic inequality. Meanwhile, Phineas Finn Hogan from Arizona State has gained recognition for his investigative reporting on the CHIPS and Science Act, which drove federal subsidy agreements following the election. Northwestern University's Eliana Green, a pre-law student, has a background in digital politics with NBC Universal and has actively engaged with legal reporting through her leadership roles at her university's Black Pre-Law Association. Quincy Marks from the University of North Carolina will contribute to the video team, bringing a successful track record from her previous role at the Wall Street Journal, where her election coverage video reached over 2 million views. Alexia Massoud, a double major at George Washington University, has reported on local issues as a Metro reporter and has engaged with international affairs through her work in Brazil. Taylor Nichols, a graduate student at the University of Maryland, specializes in data journalism and has published notable investigative pieces for major media outlets. George Cole Reynolds, also a junior at Northwestern, caught national attention for his investigative reporting that revealed systemic hazing practices in college sports, leading to legislative discussions. Harvard's Elias Shiskal brings experience from his role at the Harvard Crimson, while Abigail Abby Turner from American University has demonstrated her leadership in journalism as editor-in-chief of her student newspaper. As these interns prepare to join Bloomberg's newsroom, they embody the evolving landscape of journalism, where diverse backgrounds and innovative thinking are essential for addressing the complexities of modern media. Their impending contributions promise to enhance Bloomberg's reputation as a leader in business and economic journalism. Looking ahead, the media industry will continue to navigate the challenges posed by technological advances and shifting audience expectations. Bloomberg's investment in these interns indicates a forward-thinking approach aimed at equipping young journalists with the skills necessary to thrive in an increasingly digital and rapidly changing environment. As these interns embark on their professional journeys, their experiences at Bloomberg will undoubtedly influence the future of journalism in significant ways. In a time of growing concern about the opioid crisis, a recent analysis reveals that attributing the United States overdose epidemic solely to Mexico is a misguided approach. As policymakers contemplate measures such as imposing tariffs on Mexican imports, the roots of the epidemic appear to be far more complex and deeply entrenched within American society itself. In February 2025, President Trump cited the extraordinary threat posed by illegal aliens and drugs, including deadly fentanyl, to justify a 25% tariff on imports from Mexico and Canada. This move has sparked widespread debate, with critics arguing that such tariffs are unlikely to address the underlying issues driving addiction and overdose deaths. According to the latest preliminary data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), approximately 84,000 people die annually from drug overdoses in the U.S. A statistic that many believe is exacerbated by economic downturns rather than alleviated by punitive trade policies. Dan Vergano, a senior opinion editor at Scientific American, articulated this viewpoint in a recent opinion piece. He highlighted that the current crisis is not merely a product of drugs flowing across the border, but is fundamentally tied to domestic demand driven by various socioeconomic factors. A worse economy will only spur more drug use, he noted, emphasizing that pressures on both sides of the border only serve to complicate the issue further. The opioid epidemic has been amplified in recent years, particularly during the isolation of the COVID-19 pandemic, which saw overdose deaths rise dramatically. A staggering 100,000 people died from illicit drug overdoses between 2021 and 2023, primarily due to fentanyl sourced from Mexican cartels. However, the ease with which fentanyl can be produced and distributed undermines the effectiveness of tariffs as a deterrent. Fentanyl is highly potent and can be synthesized in small quantities, making it lucrative for criminal enterprises. Critics of the tariff strategy argue that it fails to recognize the fundamental drivers of addiction in the U.S., such as poverty, mental illness, and a lack of access to treatment. Vergano pointed out that nearly 9 million Americans misuse opioids, a statistic that reflects a deeper societal issue rather than a mere supply-side problem. "We are frankly unwilling to fix the economic cruelty that drives and keeps people locked in dangerous drug use," he quoted drug policy writer Zachary Siegel, underscoring the need for a comprehensive approach to addiction. Furthermore, the perspective that tariffs could effectively halt the flow of illicit drugs overlooks the historical context of drug use in the U.S. The current crisis is viewed within a continuum of escalating drug potency, where users have consistently gravitated toward more dangerous substances as they become available. Vergano warned that the focus on supply reduction, akin to the failed war on drugs policies of the past, is unlikely to yield positive results. Instead, he advocates for increasing access to treatment and harm reduction strategies as a more effective means to combat the crisis. As the U.S. grapples with the complexities of the overdose epidemic, the pressing question remains: how can leaders address both the symptoms and root causes of addiction? Vergano suggested that a shift in policy toward expanding access to treatment and medications for opioid use disorder could be a more effective solution. He pointed to the decline in overdose deaths that began under the Biden administration's treatment-friendly policies as evidence that such approaches can work. In conclusion, while it may be politically expedient to blame Mexico for the U.S. overdose epidemic, this perspective fails to capture the nuanced realities of addiction in America. As the nation seeks to navigate this public health crisis, it will be crucial for lawmakers to focus on comprehensive reform that addresses both the economic and social factors driving drug use. Moving forward, the challenge lies not only in curbing the flow of illicit substances but also in fostering a more equitable society that provides support and treatment for those struggling with addiction. In a world often overshadowed by technological upheaval and rapid advancements, the legacy of profound individual contributions to science and humanity can sometimes fade into the background. Such is the case with Professor Kazuo Umezawa, whose recent passing has left a significant void in the scientific community. A luminary in the field of medicinal chemistry, Professor Umezawa's work in drug discovery and cancer treatment has not only advanced scientific understanding but has also paved the way for tangible therapeutic solutions that have transformed lives. Born on December 6, 1946 in Tokyo, Professor Umezawa was the son of renowned scientist Professor Hameo Umezawa. His academic journey began at the University of Tokyo, where he earned his Bachelor of Science in 1969 before pursuing a Ph.D. in chemistry at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology under the esteemed Professor J.C. Sheehan. He further expanded his education at the University of Oxford, where he received both his Bachelor and Master of Arts in Natural Science. Umezawa began his illustrious career in 1977 as an assistant professor at the Institute of Medical Science at the University of Tokyo, where he focused on identifying carcinogens and unraveling their mechanisms of action. His groundbreaking work continued during a pivotal stint at Columbia University in 1979, where he elucidated the mechanism of action of the tumor promoter teleocidin, which he published in Nature, marking a significant early milestone in his career. In 1987, Umezawa transitioned to the Institute of Microbial Chemistry, where he became deputy director. His research during this period concentrated on natural compounds produced by microorganisms, particularly their roles in signal transduction within the body. In 1989, he accepted a position as a professor in the Department of Applied Chemistry at Keio University, where he honed his expertise in small molecule signal transduction inhibitors. Among his myriad achievements, Umezawa's discovery of the alkaloid conophyllene in 2003 stands out. This compound was found to induce the differentiation of insulin-producing pancreatic cells, presenting novel insights into regenerative medicine for type 2 diabetes. Furthermore, his identification of dihydroxymethylliposequinamycin DHMEQ as an NF-kappa B inhibitor in 2002 has had profound implications in both anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer research. the development of DHMEQ has catalyzed the establishment of commercial ventures, including the first drug discovery initiative at Keio University Signal Creation, and has seen applications in clinical trials worldwide. Professor Umezawa's post-retirement career at Aichi Medical University was equally impactful, where he continued to discover anti-tumor compounds, including migricins A and B, which showed promise in inhibiting ovarian cancer cell migration. His work also led to the isolation of cyclopenin from deep-sea organisms, which demonstrated both anti-inflammatory properties and cognitive benefits in model organisms. Throughout his career, Umezawa was not only a prolific researcher but also a mentor and an advocate for young scientists. He contributed significantly to various scientific journals, including the Journal of Antibiotics, and played pivotal roles in organizations like the Japanese Cancer Association and the Japan Association of Molecular Target Therapy of Cancer. His leadership in organizing conferences, particularly the 12th annual meeting of the Molecular Target Therapy of Cancer in 2008, exemplified his commitment to integrating chemistry and biology in cancer treatment paradigms. Beyond his scientific accomplishments, Umezawa was known for his vibrant personality, enjoying sports like skiing and tennis, and fostering a collaborative and friendly environment in his lab. His students and colleagues remember him as a dedicated mentor whose laboratory was highly sought after by aspiring scientists. As we reflect on the legacy of Professor Kazuo Umezawa, it is clear that his contributions will continue to resonate in the realms of medicinal chemistry and oncology. His innovative discoveries and commitment to scientific advancement have set a benchmark for future generations of researchers. In the wake of his passing on January 12, 2020, the scientific community not only mourns the loss of a brilliant mind but also celebrates the extraordinary impact of his life's work, which will undoubtedly inspire ongoing innovation in drug discovery and cancer treatment for years to come. In an era where artificial intelligence seems to dominate every sector, the challenge of making AI-generated content resonate with human audiences remains a pressing concern. A recent strategy highlighted by Inc. offers insights into how businesses can humanize their AI-generated content, ensuring it connects more deeply with users. The approach emphasizes the importance of authenticity and relatability in a landscape increasingly saturated with automated messages. As companies increasingly turn to AI for content generation, the risk of producing generic and lifeless material grows. Acknowledging this challenge, the Inc. article outlines a three-step method to inject human qualities into AI outputs. The first step involves understanding the target audience's needs and preferences, allowing for the creation of tailored content that feels personal. The second step focuses on incorporating storytelling elements, which are vital for engaging readers and fostering emotional connections. Finally, the strategy recommends regularly updating the content to reflect current trends and cultural nuances, thereby maintaining relevance. The significance of this strategy is underscored by a growing body of research indicating that audiences prefer content that feels personal and relatable. Authenticity is key, states marketing expert Dr. Amy Lee. When audiences perceive content as genuine, they are more likely to engage with it. This sentiment aligns with findings from various studies suggesting that consumers are increasingly drawn to brands that demonstrate a clear understanding of their values and emotions. Moreover, the article draws attention to the potential impact of humanizing AI content on customer loyalty and brand perception. By generating content that resonates emotionally, brands can foster a sense of community and belonging among their audience. In a competitive marketplace, it's not just about selling a product, it's about creating a narrative that customers want to be a part of, continues Dr. Lee. Parallel to these developments in AI, a recent Harvard study has shed light on the social dynamics of conversation, particularly for those who may be shy or introverted. The study reveals a simple yet effective three-step technique that can make individuals more likable in social interactions. The researchers found that starting with a question and following up with two additional inquiries significantly enhances one's likability. This approach not only encourages deeper dialogue but also demonstrates active listening, a critical component in building rapport. Alison Wood Brooks, an assistant professor at Harvard Business School and co-author of the study, emphasizes people enjoy talking about themselves. By asking questions and genuinely engaging with their responses, you create a more inviting atmosphere. This technique is particularly beneficial in networking scenarios, where individuals often feel pressured to impress rather than connect. The implications of this research extend beyond personal interactions and into professional environments. As many organizations strive to foster inclusive cultures, understanding and implementing techniques that promote open communication can lead to more cohesive teams. The three-question rule serves as a practical tool for employees to engage with colleagues and clients alike, paving the way for stronger professional relationships. In a related vein, the launch of the third season of the podcast Lessons in Dyslexic Thinking features Erin Brockovich, a figure who embodies the power of persistence and advocacy. Brockovich discusses how her dyslexia shaped her approach to uncovering environmental injustices, emphasizing the importance of thinking differently to affect change. This conversation underlines the value of diverse perspectives in problem solving and highlights how unique experiences can drive innovation. As we continue to navigate the complexities of AI and interpersonal communication, these insights remind us of the need for a balanced approach. By humanizing technology and fostering genuine connections among individuals, businesses can cultivate a more engaging and empathetic landscape. Looking ahead, the integration of these strategies will be crucial as organizations adapt to an ever-evolving digital and social environment, underscoring the enduring importance of authenticity and connection in both content and conversation. In an era defined by rapid technological advancement and geopolitical shifts, the United States finds itself at a pivotal crossroads, increasingly recognized as part of the global disruptors club. As the nation grapples with the complexities of innovation, security, and policy, experts from various fields are stepping forward to navigate these challenges, shedding light on the interplay between technology and the broader socio-political landscape. Recent discussions emphasize the role of women at the forefront of this dynamic environment, particularly at institutions like Carnegie Mellon University (CMU), where the convergence of technology policy and societal impact is being actively explored. Among the leading figures are Audrey Kurth-Cronin, Nadia Kostuk, and Virginia Smith, who are redefining their fields and influencing the next generation of thinkers. Audrey Kurth-Cronin, a national security strategist and founding director of the Carnegie Mellon Institute for Strategy and Technology (CMIST), underscores the necessity of integrating technological insights into policymaking. With a career that spans both academia and governmental service, Cronin has a unique vantage point on the implications of emerging technologies. Responsible scientists cannot just leave strategy to the policymakers, she argues, emphasizing that the ramifications of technological developments necessitate a collaborative approach between scientists and strategists. Her call for focused engagement resonates in a time when distractions abound, highlighting the importance of mental discipline in navigating complex issues. Nadia Kostuk, an assistant professor at CMU, brings a critical perspective on cyber power as a geopolitical tool. Hailing from Ukraine, her research delves into how nations leverage cyber capabilities in the modern world. There was a real need to zoom in on this new area, she states, advocating for a nuanced understanding of cyber power that transcends outdated analogies from traditional warfare. Kostuk's work aims to establish frameworks for measuring cyber power, recognizing its intangible yet impactful nature. Her insights are particularly relevant as the international landscape continues to be shaped by cyber dynamics, necessitating interdisciplinary collaboration among political scientists, cybersecurity experts, and policymakers. Meanwhile, Virginia Smith, a Leonardo Associate Professor of Machine Learning, navigates the intersection of data science and societal welfare. Her expertise is increasingly critical as the reliance on large language models and data-intensive technologies grows. Smith emphasizes the importance of privacy-preserving practices in AI development, asserting that diverse perspectives are essential in shaping technology that is both innovative and responsible. We need as many voices and perspectives to help build this technology as we can get, she argues, reinforcing the idea that inclusivity in technology design can mitigate associated risks. These women's contributions highlight a broader narrative. As the U.S. faces mounting competition, particularly from nations like China, the need for a comprehensive approach to technology and policy becomes paramount. The discourse surrounding these issues is evolving, with thought leaders advocating for a more integrated and interdisciplinary methodology in addressing the challenges of the digital age. Looking ahead, the involvement of women in these critical domains is not just a matter of representation but a necessity for fostering innovative solutions to complex problems. As technological disruptions continue to reshape our world, the insights and leadership from figures like Cronin, Kostouk, and Smith will play a vital role in shaping a future that balances progress with ethical considerations and societal welfare. The path forward will undoubtedly require vigilance and collaboration, as the implications of technology extend far beyond their immediate applications, influencing the very fabric of society. In recent developments from the realms of science and technology, significant strides have been made in both space exploration and ecological communication, reflecting the dynamic interplay between human curiosity and environmental stewardship. On March 19, 2025, the European Space Agency (ESA) unveiled the first data from its Euclid Space Telescope, heralding a new chapter in our quest to understand the universe. This mission aims to unlock the mysteries surrounding dark matter and dark energy, which together constitute 95% of the cosmos. Carol Mundell, ESA's Director of Science, emphasized the importance of Euclid, stating, "The whole purpose of Euclid is really to put those two together to understand the nature of dark matter and dark energy and how they're coupled in the universe." The initial data release offers a tantalizing glimpse into the vast cosmic tapestry, including images of 380,000 galaxies and 500 new gravitational lens candidates, which are critical for comprehending the structure of the universe. Euclid's observations, which span over 26 million galaxies, are part of a larger mission that will ultimately map 1/3 of the night sky by 2030. The telescope's ability to capture gravitational lensing events, where light from distant objects is distorted by massive galaxies, will provide insights into the distribution of dark matter. The implications of these findings are profound, suggesting that the mission could reshape our understanding of cosmic evolution. We're looking at galaxies from inside to out, from how their internal structures govern their evolution to how the external environment shapes their transformation over time, remarked Clotilde Legel, a scientist from the Euclid Consortium. In a parallel vein, conservation scientists are increasingly recognizing the significance of media communication and amplifying their research and advocacy efforts. In a recent blog post series by David Schiffman and Brett Favaro, the authors tackled the mechanics of effective media engagement for conservation scientists. They stressed the necessity of understanding journalistic norms, especially regarding timing, quoting protocols, and the importance of establishing clear points of contact within research teams for media inquiries. Schiffman and Favaro argue that scientists often hesitate to engage with journalists due to past negative experiences. However, they assert that by mastering the interview process and preparing adequately, researchers can enhance the chances of favorable media coverage, thereby advancing public understanding of critical conservation issues. By more thoroughly understanding all sides of a scientist-journalist relationship and the associated science media cycle, scientists will be in a better position to increase the chance that their work will have the conservation impact they intend, they noted. As scientists navigate the complexities of media interactions, the role of citizen science is also evolving. The Euclid Project, for instance, is utilizing artificial intelligence and citizen scientists to analyze the vast amounts of data it generates. This dual approach not only accelerates scientific discovery but also fosters public engagement in scientific endeavors. Meanwhile, in the Arctic, researchers have discovered that narwhals are employing their iconic tusks in unexpected ways, revealing insights into their behavior and interaction with prey. Drone footage captured by scientists showed these marine mammals using their tusks to manipulate fish and even engage in playful behavior, expanding our understanding of their social dynamics. As these narratives unfold, they underscore a fundamental truth: the pursuit of knowledge, whether through the lens of a telescope or the reporting of scientific discoveries, requires collaboration, communication, and a willingness to adapt. Looking ahead, both the realms of cosmic exploration and environmental conservation promise to yield further revelations that could reshape our understanding of the universe and our place within it. As we continue to explore the unknown, the synergy between technology, science, and public engagement will be vital in addressing the challenges that lie ahead.